Good morning. As you can see, I probably look extremely tired. Do you ever have one of those nights where you don't sleep very well and then you wake up earlier than you want to? And so now it's like really freaking hard to get yourself motivated and get yourself going because you're like overly tired, but you can't go back to bed. Yeah, well, that's where I'm at. So I said I would make a video talking about what's going on with my PhD comprehensive exams in advanced methodologies. And so that's what this video is for. I'm also going to talk a little bit about what's been going on, where I've been going, what's happening, and how I plan to tackle this comprehensive exam, which I only have like 2.5 months left to complete because I will not be taking another semester. So this is a vlog of a woman who now has 4 jobs and is a full-time PhD student living just outside of New York City, trying to survive. Welcome. It's Gregory's. So, if you don't know, comprehensive exams are like qualifying exams that you have to take in order to move into candidacy when you're getting a PhD. So right now I'm still technically a student until I pass these things and do my proposal. Now, for us, it's not an actual exam, it's a paper. It's a 30 or 35 to 50 page paper, 30 books and 5 articles, or like if you don't read a book, you can do 5 articles, like qualify, because it's like 5 chapters. And I was operating under the impression that I already completed my first exam, and for my second exam as well, that I would just pick a topic, and then on that topic, I would choose 3 different kinds of research methods or methodologies that I might use in my actual dissertation, and explore that topic using those. Like, how would I use these methodologies, or why should I use these methodologies to research this topic? Well, I was wrong. So my advisor for this particular exam happens to be my actual PhD advisor, and she will be the chair of my dissertation. And she said, why are you wasting your time researching a topic that doesn't really have to do with your PhD dissertation? You're just going to do the methods section and like theoretical framework for your actual dissertation. And I was like, huh? So I've just wasted a month and a half of my time reading a bunch of books and writing up a bunch of nonsense that like means nothing to me. I've wasted that time. I essentially wasted all of September. Now, what's interesting is that I spent like July and August reading a shit ton of books that I was like, oh, I can't use this. I can't use this. Now, it turns out that I've got a more intuitive brain than I thought, because now that I'm flipping all of my research to actually focus on what I need to do for my dissertation, half of those books I read actually work now. Holy shitballs. So that's at least a little positive thing. I have about 3 books left on my list that I have to read, and then like something like 12 articles left. I've been steadily doing like a book a day this week. Normally what I did for my last comprehensive exam is that I would do it by sections, and then I would do the complete write-up for the section, so I'd have it all in my brain. It's not going the same this time because of my theoretical framework. So I'm going to be looking at, my question is not perfect yet because I haven't been thinking about it. I thought I was just doing an exam. But my question is centered on how do rituals or the creation of rituals reconnect us, me, Sami descended person, American, a Sami descended American. How can these rituals reconnect us to our ancestral, spiritual, cultural lineage? And I'm going to be doing like a group ritual. I'm going to find other Sami descended people and sort of put that together. And I'm using a framework called the Lavu method. And a Lavu is a traditional movable dwelling the Sami people would use. And it looks like a Native American teepee. That's probably most people's who's watching this that reference. But the thing about a lavu is that there are 3 main poles and they interlock together, and that creates the base of the tent. But what's beautiful is that it's movable. And so I'm looking at it as if like my identity is also movable. You know, my family was forced off their land. Then they elected to come to this country. Now I'm this person who's straddling a threshold of not enough of this identity, but not enough of that identity. Where do I fall? How do I reclaim this identity? Excuse me. And how do I straddle this relationship between indigenous and non-indigenous, colonized and colonizer? So it's going to be a little bit of autoethnography is going to be thrown into there. But I was like, I can worry about all this later. No, I have to worry about it now. And I have until like the middle of December in order to pass this exam. Now, do I think that my theoretical framework and my methods and my methodology is all going to change as I do the actual research? Yeah, for sure. But I've got to be pretty close. My advisor is a tough cookie, which is part of the reason I love her so much because it helps me to grow. But she's a tough cookie. So I'm going to get to work. I'm going to show you some of the other stuff that's been going on in my life. I've picked up another job for my department as the social media assistant and communications assistant. Help. I'm still working on Lumina, my Women's Spirituality Institute in Northern New Jersey. I have my own programs and my own coaching for spiritual wellness, ritual building, and I'm teaching at 2 universities. So there's a lot fucking going on, and I'm trying to manage my mental, emotional, and physical well-being. I've been focused really, really like hard on moving my body, staying in my body. And that's what rituals are good for, getting us back into our bodies as well. So come along. Help. Aaron, tell the people how much food we just ate.
I still have a bag.
I do not have a bag. I have never.
Unfortunately.
I think I could explode with the amount of food that I just ate. I told my friend that this is how I've been writing my research, and I don't think she got a clear image of it while we were on FaceTime, because she was like, isn't that making it take longer? Girl. Absolutely. So it sounds like my first week. I just signed into the Instagram, by the way, and was able to get in there really easily. I just wanted to double check, just to like test the waters. But it seems like the rest of this week, I should really focus on like making sure I have access to everything, putting a plan together, maybe creating some imagery or just seeing where everything is. And then once I'm able to get in everywhere, I can really sort of hit the ground running. Just to give you an idea of like, this is it's funny. So I started, and like I mentioned, I was like, oh, I started reading things, and then halfway through I was like, oh no, I don't think I can use this. Oh no. And it turns out, like, research a ceremony, so I didn't take as many notes because halfway through I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to read this. I finished the book anyway because I thought it was really interesting. Good for me, thinking ahead, because now I do need it. But there's also a lot of stuff on here now that I actually can't use. But there are also a lot of stuff that I can use. So this will be good. But this is just, I'm gonna go to my little trusty guy over here. This is what's been going on. Okay. This is help. So how I like to do my notes is it's funny because personally I am a person who likes to read the physical copy of the book, generally speaking. When it comes to research and exams, however, that shit goes out the fucking window, and it's actually so much better if I can get a digital copy of it, because as you saw from my long list of notes, I can just copy and paste quotes and put page numbers, and so I don't have to go back physically to the book that I'm reading if I've done a good enough job of getting all those quotes where they need to be. So I do quotes, and I also take notes on the side, like, academic connecting notes, like, oh, this connects to this connects to this author, or this research, or this idea that I have, or whatever. But also, I write down my immediate thoughts and feelings after I finish reading something, because I think it's really important. How did it make me feel? So some of Indigenous research is including the self, and that's the kind of research that I'm doing as I'm looking to reclaim my own Indigenous ancestry, right? So I'm not negating how I feel about something. Now, when I'm writing, my methods comp, it's not that I'm layering the whole thing with my thoughts and feelings, but it is important to remember how certain things made me feel, because it will guide me on where things are supposed to go, and that guidance is really valuable. If you, like me, are thinking, okay, well, I want to incorporate more of the self into my research, or if you're also like, I am a practitioner of this particular spirituality or religious or cultural, whatever. There still is, but there used to be more pushback in the academy for things like this, right? They used to say things like, you don't want to out yourself as a practitioner of the thing that you're studying, because then it's not objective. If you're already studying the thing that you're practicing, it's not objective. I don't care how often as scholars we talk about objectivity. I don't believe that there's anything such as true objectivity. Oh, but when we're doing science experiments, you chose to do a particular science experiment. Why? Because you wanted to. There's something about that specific experiment that you wanted to participate in. Sure, like maybe the actual results are just a byproduct of science and they have nothing to do with any sort of influence, but your reason for doing so is influenced by you or somebody else or whatever it is. But But there are ways to also circumnavigate this if you have an advisor or a department or whatever it is, a culture at your university that really does not want you to involve the self. One, I think that's a colonial construct, and so if you want to use the tools of your university against them to have these sort of discussions, you can look at methods that are decolonial in nature or anti-colonial in nature. You can also look at indigenous methods. Indigenous methodology, and epistemology is a massively growing field, thank goodness. So you can pull on that research. And also there is a lot of research from the scholar practitioners, right? So in 2005, Nikki Bado-Fralick, I'm not sure I'm saying her name right, I apologize, published a book from an AAR series called Coming to the Edge of the Circle, a Wiccan Initiation Ritual. And she's writing from the perspective of a scholar practitioner. And she names that. And her first chapter is called Dancing Between Binary Poles, Life as a Scholar Practitioner. This is the kind of research that you can pull from. These are the kind of sources that you can use if your department, your advisor is like, well, that's not credible, that's not objective. Slob on my knob. Also, you want to be working with someone who sees your vision, understands it, and can support you. You know, one of the first things my advisor said was, we work really well together. And I was like, we do. I'm terrified of how smart you are and how hard I'm going to have to work, but we absolutely do work well together, because she understands what I'm trying to do. And she never goes, you have to do it this way. Instead, she goes, here are all the possibilities of ways that you can do it. If you choose this particular mode, for example, this is how it gets done. But the modes are my choice. And that's what you should have as well. I have been, like I mentioned, I've been trying to navigate being healthy, being outside, using my voice, using my body. So I've been doing a lot of forest bathing. I've been doing a lot of just walking first thing in the morning, around lunchtime, in the evening before bed. I've been prioritizing going to sleep earlier. My butt is in the bed around like 8:30 p.m. I don't always fall asleep at that time, but I'm doing my best. I'm prioritizing little things that make me happy. Like I'm going to a pickle festival this weekend. I went to a spiritual night market and I met a lot of people that are working in different fields of spirituality. I have been doing yoga at home again. I have been watching my K-dramas. I'm going to decorate the house. I'm going to go to a Halloween house, haunted house. I was like, a Halloween house. And I've just been, prioritizing things that also make me feel good. And I know that it's really tempting to go, well, I'll do all of that stuff when I get my work done. I'll do all of that stuff when I'm finished. Yeah, well, I don't recommend that. One, I really, really hurt myself and hurt my body, and then I wasn't able to do anything because I pushed myself too hard, and I'm still in recovery mode from that. But also, I'm more well rested than usual. I'm feeling more energized and healthy. I've been eating so many vegetables, couldn't even tell you, and it makes doing the work easier. I know a lot of people say that, but it is true. It makes doing the work easier when you prioritize all facets of wellness for yourself. It doesn't have to be achieving a goal weight or I have to eat this very strict diet. No, like I had like a cupcake yesterday. But you know what else I had? Like 30 fucking vegetables, okay? And a shit ton of water. And some tea. Balance is good. Movement is good. You will thank yourself. You will thank yourself when you're writing your dissertation or your paper and you're like, oh my God, I hate this. I can't go on. That you feel better. You will go on. I promise. Well, thanks for watching this little snippet. I don't know if this is going to be backwards, but it says coffee and research. It's very cute. Thank you for watching my little update video. If you have questions about the PhD process or how to apply for a PhD, where should I apply? I don't know what I want to study. What do I do? How do I approach an advisor? Any of those questions like that, leave a comment. I'll respond to you as best I can. And if you have any questions about signing up for a workshop or a ritual or doing some coaching, all of my links are in the description box. And I hope to hear from you. Have a good one.